Okay, albums coming out on Friday, the 19th of July, 2024. The first record we will start with is actually an EP. We've already covered it on this channel and reviewed it. Cambridge progressive metalcore heroes Far From Refuge. And the EP is called False Flag. As a reminder, we invite you to come and watch this band at their EP release show at the 66 Bar in Cambridge, England on the 25th of July. A.D.K are the promoter for that event. We actually did quite a deep analysis of this record. There's 5 tracks on it. The first 2 were hard-hitting standard metalcore with the switch to the clean chorus, which I'm not really a fan of. But the 3 tracks after that are really fascinating progressive metal, some really impressive technical guitar embroidery in there as well, offbeats, a lot of imagination in there, certainly for fans of Veil of Maya and Periphery and bands like that. So definitely give this record a wide berth. I think you will enjoy it. The second record we're going to go to is a thrash metal band from Knoxville, Tennessee, and they're called Quiescent Mantis, and the album's called Here Comes the Swarm, and that's released via Exeter Stratagem Records. This is a debut album. The interesting backstory to this band that it's a trio that was formed by people who met as research scientists and formed during the COVID-19 lockdown. They're describing it as progressive thrash metal. Now, when I hear that term, I always think of Voivod, who of course are credited with pioneering progressive thrash metal. The next release, just as strange, really, and we're continuing with bands from the United States. This is a group from Charlottesville, Virginia called Ooga Booga, and the album is called Year of the Hog. It's a self-release, and it's really hard to describe this. Thrash metal, stoner metal, and progressive sludge all combined. So 3 elements there that you would often think are incongruous. Let's give it a try. There's a concept to this record as well. Let me read it out to you. Bear in mind that the album is called Year of the Hog. A contingent of man fall victim to their anger and greed, trading in their human bodies and transforming into a new race of boar men. Okay. Moving on to the next record. English stoner metal legends, pioneers, Orange Goblin, and the record's called Science Not Fiction, and it's released via Peaceful Records. I remember buying their 2000 album, The Big Black, from X Records in Bolton, Lancashire, when it came out. Not really listened to them since the year 2000, so I'm coming back into this music 24 years later. Good to see that they're still around. It's their first album since 2018 and the 10th of their career. I'm going to continue with the theme of doom metal, because Orange Goblin certainly have a lot of that in their music. And we're going to Finland for a band called Saraja. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's a self-titled record via the boutique label Argonauta Records. And the themes of this band, according to Encyclopedia Metallum, are nature, mythology, and Nordic culture. Sounds good to me. Let's move on to an EP. And we're going to Belgium. The artist is called Axamenta. The EP is called Spires. Self-release. So this band released 2 albums in 2001 and 2006, and they were more of a melodic death metal band back then. They split in 2009 and then reformed in 2020. This is their first record since 2006. This EP is a 23-minute track divided into 7 acts. Why have they done that, you're asking? Well, this is interesting. This band produced the trailer music for the film Prey, that 2022 Predator franchise film Prey, and they've also been involved in other Hollywood films producing the trailer music. So that's why they're now calling their comeback art cinematic progressive metal. Definitely looking forward to that. Let's go to a heavy alternative rock album for the next choice. The band are called Shun, and the album is called Dismantle. They're from the USA. This record is released via Small Stone Recordings. It's a follow-up to their self-titled 2021 debut LP. And it's really for fans of punk, noise rock, and bands like Cave In, Hum, and Black Sabbath. So give that a listen. There's some good stuff coming out in rock music, even in alternative rock, which of course we know had its heyday, its golden period in the 1990s, didn't it? Thanks to bands like Jane's Addiction and the Smashing Pumpkins. Okay, back to Finland for our next choice. I Cursed. And the album's called Death Holograms, described as death metal grindcore. I think we actually use the term death grind, don't we, for this type of music. That's released via Inverse Records and Mera Music. Just note, this actually comes out on the 17th of July, not the 19th. It's the debut record, and this duo, their background is actually in post-metal, specifically in the bands Atlases and Ocean Wake. Okay, number 9, the 9th choice on this list. Australia, death metal supergroup Werewolves. The album is called Die For Us. It's a self-release. I'm sure that all precursor records have come out via Prosthetic Records. I'm not sure why this is a self-release, why they've left that label. This band aimed to produce 10 death metal albums in 10 years. They're now up to album number 5. And as I said, it's a death metal supergroup featuring members of the Amenta, Psychroptic, and the Berserker. Which brings us to the final record. And this is a sequel. It's actually the second record in a trilogy coming out this year. And it's Harvestman, Triptych, Part 2. And of course, Harvestman is Steve Von Till of Neurosis. And he's specifically coordinated the release of these 3 albums to be aligned with specific full moons this year. It's released via that famous Neurosis record label, New Rock Recordings. Ambient, psychedelic music with elements of post-rock. It doesn't sound like Neurosis, but it is as experimental and just as emotive as well. I enjoyed the first installment when that came out 3 months ago. So inevitably, I'm looking forward to Part 2, and I'm a big fan of Neurosis, who, as we know, are one of the most influential metal bands of all time, certainly of the last 30 years, and are credited, really, aren't they, with pioneering the genre we now know as post-metal. So that concludes the list for 10 records that I recommend, or that I will certainly be listening to, that are coming out on Friday, the 19th of July, 2024.